Hello everyone, hope you all are doing fine. Welcome back to ProMind classes. As we are continuing with our NCRT series, and that is class 6th geography, let's get started without wasting much time. So today we are going to learn chapter number 3, that is motions of the earth. So, as you know, that the earth has two types of motion. What are they? One is rotation and the other one is revolution. So, first let's see what is rotation. In very simple words, rotation is the movement of earth on its axis. That means earth spins around its axis. You can see a top spins around its spindle. So same way the earth spins around its axis. It is also known as earth spin. So the rotation of planet earth around its own axis is known as earth's rotation. Now let's see what is revolution. Revolution is the movement of earths around the sun in the fixed path or orbit is called revolution. So rotation is the movement of earth on its own axis and revolution is the movement of earth around the sun in the fixed path. Now as we have studied the axis of earth, which is an imaginary line, in previous chapter we have studied about it. So the axis of earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degrees with its orbital plane. So this plane formed by the orbit is known as orbital plane. So what is orbital plane? Orbital plane is the axis of earth, which is an imaginary line that makes an angle of 66.5 degrees. Now you can get a question that why the half of the earth gets light and half of the earth gets no light at the same time. So what happens? First thing is, the fact is the earth receives the light from the sun. And due to the spherical shape of the earth, only half of it gets light from the sun at the time, and the portion that facing the sun experience day, and while the other half that does not get any light that experience night. And the circle that divides the day from the night on the globe is called circle of illumination. So now I hope your concept of day and night must have got cleared. It is because of the circle of illumination. So what happens? The portion of the earth which receives the light from the sun will experience a daytime, and the one which does not receive light will experience the nighttime. So a very simple definition of circle of illumination is the circle that divides the day from the night on the globe is called the circle of illumination. And this circle does not coincide with its axis. So now the question comes that how long does the earth take to complete its one rotation? So how much? It takes 24 hours. So the earth takes 24 hours, that is one day, to complete one rotation around its axis. And the period of rotation is known as the earth day. And this is the daily motion of the earth. So what is the earth day? The earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis, and the period of this rotation is known as earth day. Now let's see what would happen if earth did not rotate. Now you know that what happens when earth rotates, right? Half portion of the earth gets day and half portion of earth experience night, and as the rotation goes on, the sequence of day and night goes on. So now just imagine that what would have happened if the earth did not rotate. So as you can see, through the rotation of our earth, once experience day and night. So it's as simple. If the earth wouldn't rotate, then half of the earth would always be facing day and half of the earth would always face night. So the portion of earth facing to the sun would always experience day if earth wouldn't rotate. So what happened if the portion of the earth which will always experience day would bring continuous warm to that region, and the other half that would remain in darkness would be freezing cold all the time. And what happened? You have already learned that in chapter number 1, if you remember, and even in chapter number 2, that what will happen if there is extremely cold and if there is extremely hot, then life would not be possible in such an extreme conditions. So now you would also understand that what is the importance of rotation, right? Because at the extreme level of cold, no life will exist. So extreme cold and extreme hot temperature, it is impossible for the humans to survive or any creature to survive. Now, this was the concept of rotation and the importance of rotation. Hope your concepts are clear regarding rotation, why rotation occurs, and what is the importance of rotation, and how much does one rotation takes time to complete, and what will happen if there is a sudden, stop of rotation. So hope that all this basic concept of rotation is clear to you. Now let's see revolution. So the second motion of the earth around the sun in its orbit is called revolution. It takes 365 and a half days, that is 1 year, to revolve around the sun. So rotation takes just 24 hours to revolve around its own axis, while the revolution takes 365 and a half day, that is 1 year, to revolve around the sun. So we considered a year as consisting of 365 days, and we ignored the 6 hours for the sake of convenience, right? So 6 hours saved every year are added to make 1 day. So that is the concept of leap year. Okay, every year that 6 hour is added until and unless it doesn't make 24 hours, and that is the concept of leap year, that after every 4 years there is a leap year. So this surplus day is added to the month of February, and thus every 4th year February has 29 days instead of 28 days, and such year with 366 days is called a leap year. And it is clear that earth is going around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Notice that throughout its orbit the earth is inclined in the same direction. Now let's see in how many division the year is divided. That is the division of seasons, you can say. So a year is usually divided into 4. That is summer, winter, spring and autumn seasons. So why the seasonal change occurs? Why? Because season changes due to the change in the position of earth around the sun. So hope that you are going to get the importance of going to know the importance of rotation and revolution, how it is important for day and night sequence, how it is important for seasonal change. So these are the basic concepts of revolution and rotation. Now you will see that on 21st of June, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. And on that day, the rays of sun falls directly on the Tropic of Cancer. And as a result, you have also read that on the previous chapter, when the rays of the sun falls directly on the Tropic of Cancer, that results more heat. So the area will receive more heat. The areas near the pole will receive less heat. as the rays of sun are slanting over there. So this you have read even in the above chapter. The North Pole is inclined towards the sun, and the places beyond the Arctic Circle experience continuous daylight for about 6 months. Since a large portion of northern hemisphere is getting light from the sun, it is summer in the region of north of equator. And the longest day and the shortest night at this place occurs on 21st June. Why? Because the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun. The sun rays falls directly on the Tropic of Cancer, and the areas receive more heat. And because the area near the pole receive less heat, because of the slanting, and the northern pole is inclined towards the sun, and places beyond the Arctic Circle experience continuous daylight for about 6 months. And that is why the northern hemisphere gets light from the sun, and it is a summer season. Now we will see about southern hemisphere. So all this time in southern hemisphere, all these conditions are reversed. Which conditions? The conditions which is in northern hemisphere. So comparative to that, the southern hemisphere condition is reversed as compared to northern hemisphere. So what is the condition in southern hemisphere? It is winter season there, and the nights are longer than the days, and the position of earth is called summer solstice. Now we will see on 22nd of December. Previously we saw on 21st of June. Now we will see 22nd of December. Now what happens on 22nd of December? The Tropic of Capricorn receives direct rays of the sun as the South Pole tilts towards it. And as the sun rays fall vertically at the Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degrees south. So what happens? A larger portion of the southern hemisphere gets the light, and therefore it is summer in southern hemisphere with longer days and shorter nights. So on 21st of June, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, and so the northern hemisphere experience about summer season for 6 months. And from 22nd of December, the Tropic of Capricorn receives the direct rays of sun, and because of that, large portion of southern hemisphere gets the light and experience summer over there. And the reverse happens in the northern hemisphere. This is the position of earth is called winter solstice. So, and there is one more fact, that the Christmas in Australia is celebrated in summer season. Now let's see, on 21st of March and September 23rd, direct rays of sun falls on the equator. So as this position, neither of the pole is tilted towards the sun. So what happens? The whole earth experiences the same condition, that is equal days and equal night. And this is known as equinox. So now let's see, on 23rd of September, it is autumn season in the northern hemisphere and spring season in the southern hemisphere. And the opposite is the case of 21st March, when it is spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern hemisphere. Thus you will find that these days and nights changes in the season because of rotation and revolution of the earth respectively. So on 21st of June, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun, and the ray of the sun directly falls on Tropic of Cancer. So in northern hemisphere it is summer, and southern hemisphere it is winter. On 22nd of December, the Tropic of Capricorn receives the direct rays of sun. So southern pole gets tilted towards it, and that's why southern hemisphere receives summer and northern experience winter. And 21st of June, when northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun and the rays of sun falls on Tropic of Cancer. So it is also known as summer solsticate. And on 22nd December, when the Tropic of Capricorn receives direct rays of sun and South Pole is tilted towards it, so it is also known as winter solsticate. And again on 21st of March and 23rd of September, what happens that the sun falls on equator and there is same, whole earth experience the equal day and night. And on 23rd of September, it is autumn in northern hemisphere and spring in summer southern hemisphere, and the same is opposite on 21st of March. So now you know how the night and day occurs, how the season change, and the major important role of rotation and revolution. So here this chapter gets completed. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please do like our video, watch our video, and please do subscribe our channel, share the video. And thanks a lot for supporting us so much. Thank you so much. Always stay tuned with ProMind. Have a nice day.